David Denny had built the kind of business most entrepreneurs want. He's working with his wife. He's traveling the world. He's helping thousands of insurance agents grow their social media, their personal branding, their businesses. Then his doctor told him his cholesterol was higher than it should be. Started considering medication, and David's like, no way, not doing that. So he took a hop, skip, and a jump into the fast lane of changing his health, found better ways to manage nutrition, health, into the busy lifestyle that he has with his wife. And that's what we're talking about today, along with being authentic in an AI-driven world. And even more so why we're on this podcast is real people having real conversations. And we'll also talk about health and its relationship to business, accountability, and sharing your real story behind what makes you you so that people can know, like, and trust you better. Welcome to Driven for Health, episode 132. Coach Brian Prana, and welcome, David, to the show. And I already prepped you. So what is the biggest takeaway that we want the audience to have from our conversation?
So, I mean, not only, of course, balancing your health with the business, but I think the biggest practical application from that as a takeaway is making sure you have others to hold you accountable that know your goals that you're trying to accomplish there. Is if we keep those to ourselves, it's easy to let up on them or kind of shift or give ourselves any reasons to not follow that. But if we have others that are in our corner, holding us accountable, or just even aware of what those are, whether a family or even publicly, like on social media, we're much more likely to hit those goals.
I totally agree. And that's really what I've done for 23 years is just hold people to do the things that they said they were going to do, but in the easiest, best way for them so that they, in my case, lose the weight, but more importantly, keep it off and get rid of some bad blood panels and all. And that's one of the points that we want to talk about here is you do take care of your health now, but that wasn't always the case. And so what were some of your like health wake up call earlier on that said, hey, I actually need to do something about this? And then we'll jump into your actual story with your wife. And, you know, I'm a high school sweetheart too. So we'll go into that too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's two bigger points, one more recent and then one previously of kind of the, hey, I really need to take control of my health. One was that we had worked from South Africa for 2 years. I was living over there. It wasn't a very healthy
my wife
work
would
life.
say, just saying that my wife would love that. She can't wait to like go Europe and just travel and and work remotely. That's chapter 3 with after these 4 kids are gone.
I would love to talk about it. That's something that's super important for us that we do regularly. Actually about to leave next week to head over to Spain for a month. Awesome. But South Africa, fantastic, especially Cape Town. We've helped plan people's honeymoons there and give them the itinerary. So if you guys do go, I got a full list of what you guys should do. Nice. But living there, the work-life balance wasn't great. It was working 12, 14 hours days. And then everybody wanted to, kind of party or go, kind of live the luxury life outside of that. And so it was a lot of eating and drinking, not a lot of movement, and then a lot of work, to where coming back, I probably weighed the most I'd ever weighed at that point. It's something that clothes didn't fit well. I realized, having grown up as an athlete my whole life, I did not feel at my best. And that was tough, right? Like when especially if you grow up like fit and stuff, you sure. know when you're not, right? And you don't feel like at your peak. And so that was one big case, came back. And that's actually when I originally did like keto and lost like 30, 40 pounds, like a month and a half. I loved it. The food tastes good on keto, no denying that. But but realizing it is a balance, especially when you go places that don't have a lot of great options, having to keep track of so much. And, and why running and building businesses, which as we came back, that's kind of what we were kicking off, was our very first company. And then more recently, I know we had talked about is maybe like a year and a half ago, had gone to the doctor for my annual check-in. I was like, hey, I know I need to lose weight. And he's like, yeah, you do. And, I know it runs in your family with high cholesterol, but you have pretty high cholesterol, like really high cholesterol, that I should put you on a statin. And I said, hey,
Right.
I would love to try natural to reduce that
Right.
first. And he said, thankfully, was a doctor of like, hey, I'm okay with that. We'll just do check-ins every 3 months.
And guys listening in, this is that specific instance is where I get so many guys that finally had enough. Nothing's going to change because you're stuck in the rut of
Mm.
living life, of doing business, of and you don't have the skill sets or the time or the ability to do it. And I have so many guys like my clothes finally didn't fit, or I went to the doctor and they had meds and they finally end up reaching out and taking control of their health. And it's really important that that is a very definitive time frame to go left or go right. It's a fork in the road. Are
Mm.
you going to continue head in the sand and just ignore it, hope it goes away, or actually start doing something about it? And I'm really glad that you did something about it.
Yeah, I mean, nothing changes unless something changes, right? Like we
Oh
will
yeah.
continue in whatever that trajectory is, right? Like physics, I don't
Right.
know, some sort of math that
Oh
tells you
yeah.
keep going, inertia. I don't know. Let me
Right.
throw
It's
out
like Albert Einstein.
some high school like words there or whatever, but it's the same thing. Like, and
Right.
ultimately, I believe, people will continue to the pain is enough to the point where they'll make a change, right? Like it's one thing to
Right.
ignore, like I put an extra pound on, whatever, but eventually it's like, okay, I'm either having trouble breathing or like sweating tying my shoe or like I just don't feel great or like, I've had people start mentioning things to me. Whatever it is, when you hit that pain point of like, okay, I really need to make a change, right? And we
Yeah.
can certainly get into what that looks like, hold accountable. That's why I'm a huge believer in coaching. Our business is
Yep.
actually coaching along social media and other stuff,
Yep.
but it's so
We're gonna get
so
there too.
key. Absolutely. I know we're going to talk about all of it, but that was a point for me. It's like, hey, I strive to do the best at all the things I do and realize that stuff's balanced, but this has got to be a key part that I put in place, especially for longevity and why
Right.
work towards things if you're not going to be healthy enough to enjoy life as well.
Yes, I say this a lot. Says it. Life's a journey, not a destination, and you don't want to get to the end of the rope and be like, "Hey, I should have had more fun. I got all this money or whatever, or I do have poor health." That will be a definitive end for you, as it is with everyone here. But let's like live, 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 die, and have a lot of fun along the way.
I think that's why a lot of us get into this entrepreneurship and building business, because
Right,
we kind of don't ascribe to maybe the boomer or parents generation of the,
right.
hey, work 40 years the same company and then retire, maybe get 10 years to enjoy life and then and die. And I was like, that
Right.
doesn't sound like a good trade-off. I don't like that deal. I'm going to make a new deal.
Right.
I'm going to run this stuff and balance it. So
Yes, I agree. We are about ready to go to a 7-day cruise up in Alaska here.
ooh,
We just
okay.
got back from Peru for 2 weeks and spring
I love it.
break. My wife's going to head out to Ireland. We're going to join her around Thanksgiving. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we got Japan on the list for
Ooh,
spring break
okay.
next year. So, some very exciting places that we're going to really try to live. So, we work hard every day, but we play hard, enjoy life too on the back end.
Did you have any chicha morada? Why or morada? Chicha morada? The purple corn drink is so
Yeah.
good. The spice, oh, so good.
Oh,
It's my favorite
yeah.
thing in Peru.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. We had a blast. One of the coolest things is my last name's Piranha. We were fishing for piranhas in the Amazon. So piranhas fishing piranhas is one of most of my kids really, really enjoyed it. All 6 of us caught piranhas. They weren't the man-eating looking things, but they were like say bluegills. You could hold them in your hand and then you hold them, look at the camera, and they got their jaws and stuff. But don't get your finger too close. You will bleed if they catch you there. But
I love
pretty
it. You're
cool.
like, if you don't listen to my coaching, I'm gonna stick my piranhas on you, right? So
Yeah,
there we go.
right. Now, so cholesterol was high. You
Mhm.
decided to change. We got some. What were some of the things that worked for you? And everyone is different. And that's the beauty of say coaching and the process is that you find what works best for you, and that you can maintain. I call it the 2-2-2 rule. What we do in 2 weeks, we should be able to do 2 months, and in 2 years, so on and so forth, so that we can continue to sustain whatever process it is. So, say like keto, yeah, that can work, but
Mhm.
people aren't just like on the keto bandwagon. That word is not any remotely as prevalent as it once was. So what has been some effectiveness of that, and then let's talk about some of your other, like your wife and business and stuff too.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, I mean, whatever it is has to be something that's sustainable and easy enough that you can repeat it, right?
Right,
Like,
right.
it's tough for me when I go in on things. I'm like all in. I'm obsessive, and maybe that's why
Yeah, oh yeah, me
in
too.
entrepreneurship, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna hit the gym 5 times a
Locked
day for
in.
3 hours each time. Like, no, it's not sustainable, especially by
Right,
running business, or if you have
right.
kids like you do. Like, life's not always predictable and stuff as well. So I was like, okay, what can I do that is easy enough for me to do day in and day out without having to think too hard or is going to be too complex. Like, I love the
Yes,
gym. My wife and I love weights and weightlifting and working out. But, with the way business is balanced, it wasn't something that, like, hey, we could repeatably hit those times at the gym ongoing. It's something I would love to add back, and probably will, and pieces at a time, sustainable. But I need something day in and day out, don't have to think about, that is going to
right.
make that difference. The two biggest things were, one, eating. No, you can't out work out a bad diet, right?
Right, of
And it wasn't
course.
that I necessarily had a terrible diet. It's just the way that I was consuming calories, and was eating too much, right?
Right,
And it wasn't something I was thinking about purposely paying attention to. Now I could, hey, I'm gonna eat very specific types of food. I'm gonna measure my stuff out and do all that, but I also knew sustainability wise that
sure.
might work for the week or two, and then I would get a little lax on it, or just not have time. I don't have my scale with me. And so I was like, okay, what's easy enough for me to do? And what I had done years ago, and I actually loved and felt really good doing, and also fit where I'm busy in the mornings and afternoons and lifestyle, was one meal a day. So
Mhm.
I went back to doing just one meal dinner in the evenings, and I'll just have some coffee and water throughout the day, and then dinner in the evenings, to where didn't have to really think about what I was eating as much, because I was just consuming one meal. And just that alone started making a pretty significant difference in me starting to drop weight and my health
Right.
get better. And then I wanted to add one fitness thing in, even if it was simple, and that was for going for morning walks. And so
Yes.
we'd wake up, walk around the neighborhood. It's Florida, so it's kind of like a little safari of all the different crazy wildlife,
Yeah.
including the pond has a gator. I've yet to see
Alligators.
the gator. I've yet to see the gator, but the
Oh,
pond apparently has a gator in it near us.
okay, okay.
And so,
Alligators.
and those two things, I mean, made a pretty significant difference. I mean, it was also nice to get
Yeah,
out and breathe fresh
right.
air and do
Spend time
everything.
with
But
your lady.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Kick off the day before we both go into the office.
Right,
But it was something that was repeatable, something we could both do, something that she enjoyed doing those walks too. So it's great when both
right,
you and someone else enjoys it. Hey, let's go for the walk.
right.
Okay, I don't really feel like it, but you said it, so let's do it. So
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
yeah.
balance each other a little bit, and then the one meal a day for the food.
Right.
Because three people in the household all have kind of vastly different what we can eat, what we can do. And so, like, just being like, hey, all the food needs to be on my particular diet, that's a lot more challenging than
Right.
hey, I just eat one meal a day, that way whatever is for dinner I can do.
Yeah, yeah. Now, the premise of why it worked, we are increasing activity,
Hmm.
decreasing calories. That's it.
Hmm.
It's a math
Hmm.
equation here, and that's why I work, people. So,
Not
y-
calculus. It's straightforward
yeah,
math enough, anybody can do
addition
it.
and subtraction. That's about it. I like to simple is easy, easy gets done. And the everyday life that we live is complex enough that we don't need food, we don't need everything else stacking up on our calendar and stuff to make it more challenging than it needs to be. So just constantly, and anytime that I'm coaching, right, we go back to accountability and support. What are the things that I can get this person to do on a consistent, reliable basis and get them to
Hmm.
be easier over time and more repetitive behaviors, and providing that structure so that they do it? Because everyone knows what to do, but they're not doing those things, right? Generally eat less, move more. So just find these pathways to do it.
Yeah.
Now, good.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, yeah, I mean, you can always, as that becomes ingrained into your life, you can continue adding to that or getting, okay, now I can add the gym back in, or now I do want to add in tracking certain
Right.
macros or
Right.
getting, my creatine in it, whatever that is. But
Right.
it's one step at a time. If you can't put something where you're consistent over months, over a year, then it doesn't really
Yeah.
do too much good to be crazy healthy and do all your things for a few weeks or a few months and then
Right.
just go right back to where you were.
Right. Building momentum, then you can add on. I had two guys join my Call to Rise 100-day fat loss challenge this week, and they started technically Sundays is when it starts, just the programming and everything in my app. But they signed up earlier in the week, so they get bonus time. So listening in, if you schedule a call and you get booked on and sign up on a Monday, you get 6 extra days. So 106 days of Brian. You'll get a lot of Brian, just as Eric did yesterday on our first call. He's like, "All right, I took way too many notes, my hands cramping." But the premise is one of the guys was going away for an all day meeting, and I basically the premise he was just trying to just like go all in and whatever. It's like, can you just make better choices than you did the last time you were in this situation? And we did. He was texting me. He ended up going to Whole Foods. He sent me a picture of what
Mm.
he ended up eating. He told me we were game planning it before he got there. So he got this fish, some rice, some garbanzo beans, heavy amounts of vegetables. It was plenty of flavor and deliciousness. It is way better than the Subway sandwich, cookie, and a chip bag of chips that he was going to alternatively get after. And it was like the tuna sub or something. Like, hey, FYI, there's a crazy amount of fat in the tuna sub at Subway. Just an FYI, if that's your go-to one, please check their website so you make an informed decision about how much more fat calories you get over protein because of the mayo. Just FYI there. Just do something better.
Do something better. And then, like, I think putting things in place that, like, striving for perfection is always going to be a disappointing outcome, but something to
Mm-hmm.
where, hey, as things pop up, like if, hey, a client wants, take us out to like a meal right now to celebrate something because they just popped by the office and are in town. Well, yeah, I might be normally doing the one meal a day, but for that, like, hey, I'll hop in, I'll do the meal with you maybe or something there. But always being able to come back to the default. Okay, what's my default? My default's one
Right.
meal a day, and that's just my default. And like, hey, if I have
Right.
days or weekends out with friends or something that they came in town, especially once a year, something cool, but then I'm back to my default. I think
Yep.
that's a thing versus like, oh, I missed a day or I missed a few days. Yeah, I give up.
Right.
Done. Right. Versus being
Right.
able to come back to that default.
Get back on a Monday. Good thing today's a Monday. I can just start over
Hmm.
in 6 or 7 days here. Yeah. So, okay, excellent. I'd love to kind of talk about some family life and stuff. One of
Yeah.
the unique reasons why you caught my attention to bring on is obviously the business stuff that you do, but your high school sweethearts with Ellie,
Hmm.
and let's talk about some of that and some of how that has been a part of obviously a very long life. I'm 43, my wife's 43, and I've known her since I was 11. And we were high school. We dated our senior year, and 20 years of marriage, 4 kids later. So I totally resonate with that story. So tell me a little bit about your relationship and stuff, and how it
Yeah.
all is. Obviously, it's a huge part because you guys are
Hmm.
in business together too.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we started dating at 16 in high school. I think it
There
was
you go.
right as we were going into actually summer right before junior year. And date all throughout high school, was class couple, and we're like, we're gonna prove him wrong.
Yeah.
And even in college, it kind of 2 years long distance, but we're both originally from Atlanta. I went to Georgia Tech and she went to school for 2 years outside of state in South Carolina and then came back to Atlanta and finished school at SCAD there. And we had been dating for 5 years at that point. I was working for a company, and we were like to our parents, "Hey, we want to get married for senior year of college." So we did. Got married at 21, right before we started senior year.
Yeah.
Whole bunch of stories right after, especially, I mean, even from honeymoon of essentially getting fired on honeymoon, and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I mean, from there, ended up traveling, living in South Africa for a couple of years for a company I was working for before coming back and starting our own businesses. And for the last like 12 years, have been running our own companies together, working together. So yeah,
Yeah.
we live together, we work together, we travel together, get to live life and run business with my best friend. And so
Yeah.
absolutely a blast.
Yeah, I feel that too. It's my wife has two businesses. One's a little more predominant than the other, but they both center around travel.
Mhm.
Travel advisor, so she sends people on epic bucket list style trips all over the world. So hence why we're going all over the world.
I
She's
love
not
it.
only learning, but she's experiencing and
Business research
producing.
trips, right?
Yes,
Exactly. Yeah.
exactly,
Write that
right.
tax off, right? Yeah,
Uh-huh.
absolutely.
She's been to Italy more times in the last 3 or 4 years that I think she's just even been out of state Ohio. But
I love it.
but yeah, being there to support your spouse, your partner through all the ups, the downs, the challenges, the happiness, the celebrations is so important to be able to do that. And it's very, very cool to just participate and see the wins and help where you can.
And to help each other in your own health journeys too, even though like
Right.
my spouse is kind of the opposite body type as me, and initiatives and stuff around that, and very much like foods. It's kind of interesting. I would say like, oh, gluten, some other things kind of affect, but it's really foods inside the US.
Oh,
So
yeah,
like the
right. You've been
bread,
out enough.
like the bread here and other stuff, just can't eat, and and it's like
Right.
absolutely hurts her. And then we'll go to like Italy and or outside the US and have pasta, and it's fine, right? And it's like, okay,
Right.
there's something little up here with our
Yeah.
food and what's gone into it, or into the
Uh-huh.
soils and stuff. It's just it's crazy. It's just so much
It's
more freeing
unfortunate.
outside the
How
US
about
of.
that? It's
It is unfortunate,
unfortunate.
yeah. And so
Yeah.
um something to keep in mind. But yeah, having someone to help kind of push, and you guys hold
Right.
each other accountable to your own health journeys is big too.
Oh, definitely. We'll always up to go for a walk.
Mhm.
She doesn't necessarily work out. She says I work out for both of us,
There you
enough for
go.
the both
Yeah,
of us,
that's a
which is
thing.
fine. So I strength train with my buddies, and then we spend a lot of time walking and hiking with the dog. We have a Newfie, and he's a giant 140 pounds at this point or something. It's a massive dog, but
That's
we go out
bigger
and
than my
walk and
Ridgebacks.
spend time. Yeah, I always say this: you walk and talk with your spouse, because one of you likes to talk more than the other, and it's a great time to get your steps in. So me, I have to always remember to just listen, Brian.
Mm,
Just listen, get your steps, enjoy just being around her, and don't give her any input. Don't coach. Don't give her solutions.
mm.
She's smarter than me, so just let her clear her head and find the solutions herself. Oh,
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, it's good talking time. Good, it's good to be moving while talking and get outside. Now, you might have to time it slightly different depending on the time of year. It is
right.
like 100,000 degrees right now in
Yeah.
the middle of summer
Uh-huh.
in Florida. Feels like a swimming pool when you step
Oh,
outside. So I'm
yes.
like, okay, early mornings and in the evening, later in the
Yep.
evenings are great
It's
times to
like
be
after
outside. Fill the
9
day.
p.m., please.
Yeah.
Yep. Excellent. Now, let's lead into how you both do business together and
Mhm.
what's important in your world with coaching people, with guiding them in this through authenticity in an AI driven world. And you and I both know, I don't know, I'm sure you feel it. I feel it too with AI showing up. It's just everything is faster. Like the pace has
Yep.
quickened. Like it's like if you're not sprinting 24/7, you definitely feel like you're behind. Or if you're not on the latest AI trend thing, then you feel behind again. But again, if you're even aware of AI, you're probably still ahead of most of the masses in a sense. But yeah, let's jump in. How does
Yeah.
this how does this show up for you and your business
Mhm.
and everything?
Yeah, it shows a lot. I mean, we've had our business for a really, really long time, and we've been specialized to our niche over the last 8 years. We've worked with a lot of insurance agents and agencies. That's very much a niche. We worked with all kinds of industries prior to that, and probably will start opening up to even more. But that's been the niche we've been
Right.
focused on, and we've had our strategies we've taught, and AI just has allowed us to make those even easier and
Sure.
faster.
Right.
For our clients and what we teach them. I mean,
Right.
AI is an amazing tool
Yeah.
when brought
Tool.
in to either make things faster, smoother, fit within processes or strategies or things that you already have. It's
Right.
not such a great tool for replacement of a human. It's not great on a lot of the interpersonal and a lot of that human connection. And something that I know we'll
Right.
talk about a good bit more is how individual consumer and generational behaviors change a bit, right? Like with the rise of AI and AI content, it's not that really the amount of content can put out. Like you can easily put out a whole bunch of AI content. In fact, it already
Right.
is. And now it's becoming okay, what's not only good quality, but what's real? Like
Right.
who is that really them talking? Is this a real person? Where can I put my trust? Who I listen to, who I want to be coached by? All those things is what's real, right? Especially if you start getting to older demographics. I don't want to be tricked. If you're tricked, I feel not that's not real or not authentic.
Yes.
You're dead to me. I'm not doing any business with you. And then even younger generations, it's like I want what's authentic, what's real. I don't want perfection. I want things at the stakes. And that's why even some of the like talking head content creators are starting to move a little bit away just from talking head because it's so easy to fake with AI. If it's me on
Right.
a walk and pulling up my phone or talking to someone or stuff there, then it's a lot more authentic, real. They messed up a word. They said that wasn't perfect. It's like, okay, that's
Right.
real as well. So I mean, I very much talk about like leaning AI into tools and help us do more and remove some of the repetitive things or help with our creative thinking a little bit. But at the end
Hmm.
of the day, we still are the brand. We are
Right.
who's in front of people. We're the ones building the trust. That's who people have conversations, connect with. And so that's what we really lean into also for our clients is they're doing that with their audiences using social media as well.
Yeah, definitely. It is important in this day and age to show up as authentic as possible, and it's one of the biggest reasons why I even did the podcast. Started is I need to talk out, and I had been posting once a day, every day, and it just didn't seem to be going anywhere. And talking and creating long form content has allowed people to get to know, like, and trust me because of the 7-Eleven and all that stuff that you have to do for touch points in terms of building trust with someone. So if they can actually hear my real voice and go through the process of the 132 episodes here that are there, then they can see if they like what I have to offer, if I can actually help them and start to believe that trust and move toward me or toward a decision of taking responsibility for their health. And that's important because I can't work with anyone that's not ready to change. It doesn't, it's not it.
and and I'm sure it's not going through 132 episodes. In
No.
reality, it's part of one or even one that's
Right.
like, okay, this is who I need to reach out and touch base with, because we all talk about like who we feel connected to or trust. If it's
Right.
someone I've heard someone mention a name, okay, I'm aware they exist. If I've seen a picture of them or they've popped up on social where I've seen a picture, okay, I've seen what they look like, and
Right.
maybe that's now feel a little more trust or connected. Now I've actually heard them talk or train or teach on something. Okay, now I know what they're about, their personality and
Right.
everything there too. So by you doing long form and podcasts and or those that are listening, being able to like, put out video or content, even if it's like just a simple one, that's what really people can hear you, can see you, and helps build that trust, or in your case, like authority as well with the podcast and stuff as well. Because at the end of the day, people connect. It's relational. It's and that's also what builds trust. So them being able to hear you, go through these podcast episodes, teach, it's almost a preview of what would it like to be coached by Brian and what he can help
Right.
with and that knowledge. And it's what takes people across the stepping stones to, yeah, I'd love to work with you as a part of that. So we live in a cool age where we can get in front of, hundreds, thousands of
Yeah.
thousands of people just through social media and not have to
Right.
be like, well, I need a couple $1,000,000 to run a TV commercial. So
Right. Yeah, we do not need that. Can't afford that. 4 kids, the grocery budget. Yeah, not doing Super Bowl commercials anytime soon. Right?
yeah, we'll leave those for the beer companies. Yeah.
Yeah, right, right. Now, as you're coaching someone, who is it that you end up? uh, Who's the ideal client? They come in, like even before they come in, who is that person that you help to connect with others to grow their social media presence, to grow their business, and then kind of walk through a client journey of how you create the experience and the coaching experience, accountability, and the deliverables for Jumpstart Go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so our core audiences like insurance agents and agencies can really take any business owner, entrepreneur and replace it
Right,
with that. But that's our core niche,
right,
which is kind of part of the process. And I'll talk about is like target audience, like know
right.
your target audience, who you're talking
I
to
can
and
help
who you
anyone,
work
but
with.
we
Yeah,
talk about
that's
40
terrible. That
plus
I can
old
help
men. Yeah.
anybody if they have a pulse. They're my
Yes.
audience or client, and it's like, okay, you're going to help nobody. That's the
Yeah.
jack of all
Mm-hmm.
trades, master of none. Like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
why don't I get any referrals? Like, who do I refer you? You didn't like specify anything, right? So, and it makes it especially tough when it comes to social, which I'll talk about in a second as well. But take that audience now. Pain points, whether they're brand new or established, like is I need my target audience knowing I exist and me connecting with them so I can help them with a policy, for example, or whatever
Right.
it is I'm selling, right? And so I need client acquisition, right? Sales is a
Right.
part of that, but I could be amazing at sales, and if I have nobody to talk to, it doesn't do me any good, right? So
Right.
marketing, client acquisition is a piece of that. And so from the industry we're primarily focused on, the insurance one. It's a very old industry, very slow to change. It's been around
Mm-hmm.
forever. There's a lot of industries like that, but they they don't like to adapt to things very quickly. Now, technology's made them start adapting quicker, but in
Right.
general, they still, if you've seen Wolf of Wall Street, things like that, they're still on they call it smiling and dialing days.
Yeah.
I
Smile
call
and
it,
dial. Let's print out the paperwork and fill
yep,
it out by hand.
buy a bunch of old leads and other stuff. Let's call numbers all day long. Go do hundreds of thousand dial a day or
Right.
whatever and stuff.
Right.
They call it smile and dial. I call it frown and drown because that's more likely the
Right.
faces they're making.
I've tried doing just calling or outreaching or DMing, and it gets sad. It is
It is.
drowning and frowning and drowning. That's
It's
for sure. Because you're just like, this is awful.
it's almost like a spray and pray method of,
Yeah.
of marketing, growing your business, which doesn't work very effectively or well, especially if
No.
you care
A
about your
lot of
time,
work.
you
Yep.
don't like rejection all that, and you want to be more efficient too. It's like, okay, it doesn't make a lot of sense where it'd be one thing if I was at least on the phone and talking to people all day long and connecting with a few people that might listen and hear what I want to say. But in reality, most days spent listening to ringtones or the dial tones or
Right.
voicemails because
Right.
stuff isn't getting picked up. Contact
Right.
rates are dropping. There's so
They're
many
probably not even
anti-spam,
using
anti-call.
Power Dialer or all that other more
No,
advanced marketing things. So they're literally like doot
numbers
doot
numbers
doot
getting
doot.
flagged. I
Oh
mean, it's
yeah.
just not a super
Uh-huh.
efficient way of growing. And they know
Right.
this, right? Like it's very
Right.
transactional, and they're also
Right.
realizing like, hey, this in pretty much all business relational. Transactional
Right.
just ends up with people like canceling policies and me getting charged back money, me having to constantly find new people. I'm not getting referrals because they don't even remember my
Mm-hmm.
name because it's all transactional versus relational. And so
Right.
when I talk to these agents, or in once again, substitute any business owner, like, what do you want? Well, I want people coming to me who already know who I am, see me as an authority, already ready to have a conversation. They're excited about it. I don't want to go chasing down people who don't what I have, don't want to talk about it, see me as spam, and don't trust
Right.
me. It's
You're
like,
the direct TV marketer sales guy that's in Sam's Club chasing everyone down. Like,
Exactly. Like I don't want to
nobody's
chase
using
people
satellite, man.
down. It's not only a waste of time, but it feels terrible too, or
Yes,
ever.
for
And like
both parties involved.
it's not efficient. And at the end of the day, like they're like, okay, yeah, I want these hot, warm, almost referral quality or referrals coming through.
Right,
Fantastic. And it's like, what do you do all day? Well, I do the opposite. I literally try to transact and no trust. And it's
right,
like, okay, that those are two opposite things that don't align. It's not magically one day going to swap to what you want. And so
right,
that's where we really lean into, okay, how do I achieve that? How do I have people know who I am? How do I have my personal brand? But how do I go beyond just posting and hoping people see it and reach out to me, to where it is like actions I can take to make those conversations happen, to turn into sales and referral partner relationships and all these things. And that's really what we focus on, is how do I use social media to get in front of my target audience, connect with referral partners, drive all this business through to me, who already knows who I am, sees me in
right,
authority, and I don't have to do paid leads or paid ads. This is a business
right,
that's coming inbound to me and my
right.
team, off of that. And that's what we really
Because
focus on, is
paid
helping them get away
ads
from
and
those
leads
things.
is not fun
Exactly. And like
either.
infinite ROI. Like, if with ads and paid leads, you're just renting. You're just renting, and then you just got to go re-rent again and re-rent
Right,
again. It cuts out your
right.
profit margins, and it
Very
just
much
feels
so.
like, man, I'm a
There's a
hamster
science
wheel.
to it too.
Yeah.
There's a science both ways, but when we go back to authenticity, we're building relationships with people to then referral partners and stuff to build that know, like, and trust. So it's a self-serving circle of influence and business that works for you long term. Whereas you bought the leads, you dialed the leads, you DM people, and it ended up going nowhere, and you got to do it again.
It's a modern application, like, because marketing principles, sales principles, they don't change. They've been the same over time. The
Right,
application of them and how we go about, or technology we use, has changed over time.
right,
So if we go to like pre-internet, like how did someone build and establish their business? They went out into their area, into their town. They connected with other businesses, formed referral relationships, did events or things together. They sponsored nonprofits that were involved in school systems, maybe chamber of commerce, city council. They went to different meetings. They become the go-to for whatever it is they did. Like, Brian is the fitness health coach in the air. Everybody goes to him. It's hard
right,
for anybody to compete, because everybody knows Brian is like the long established best person here,
right.
and business just comes to you every day. And it's like, okay, that's fantastic. And now we can literally use social media to replicate that exact same thing. I can go where the crowds are already gathered, but they're already
Right.
segmented into Facebook groups, just like they would be doing different meetings in local area in person. And I can make these connections without even having to leave my house or get out of my pajamas if I don't want to, off of this. And I can do this all over the country, not even just my local area.
Right.
So it's the same principles. It's just now shifted to being a lot more efficient, a lot more ability to get in front of people and form these relationships and connections. It's just, how do I do it in a manner that works on social?
Mhm. So how do we do that, outside of not moving away from talking heads and showing
Yeah.
up as an authentic version of yourself?
And it's not necessarily like the specific type of content, a reel, a story, a talking head, the format. I'll give a couple. I'll give it like some pieces with that. The very first thing we already talked about is know your target audience, because
Right.
that affects everything. And don't
Right.
focus just on demographics. Demographics is a piece, right? I know what I sell. And so I know, who maybe an age range or location or income value or income that would be good fits. But then going beyond that of, okay, what are their fears? What are their concerns? Where do they hang out? What do they enjoy? And I can even tie those to things that tie to me, right? Like maybe I sell a certain type of insurance that's for seniors, right? They're
Hmm.
65 or plus, right? And so I know, okay, my age range is going to be 55 or 65 plus, somewhere in there. Fantastic. But then maybe I'm also really big into like fitness or pickleball, right? Well, I can tie that to seniors because they're also into staying healthy or fitness for my target audience, right? That's who I want to go after, which makes it easier for me to write insurance policies for them. Cool. And so I can end up leveraging things like pickleball Facebook groups and pickleball coaches, or Silver
Hmm.
Sneakers, which is like a free fitness program for people on Medicare.
Right.
And I can end up having these communities come through to me and connect with those communities on social of things I already enjoy and I'm doing in my life. I don't have to create new hobbies or change my personality. I can
Hmm.
lean into those and tie it to my target audience. So knowing your target audience is key. And so that tells me, where do they hang out, where can I find them, what are their concerns, also what referral partners are going to be best for me. Someone that just works with new parents with toddlers may not be the best fit if I
Yeah,
work with seniors, but someone that runs maybe if I do life insurance and they just do Medicare for seniors, so that could be a great fit. Or if they are involved with a senior fitness center or anything like that, there's all kinds of things that could be great referral partners there. So know your target audience plays a factor in everything, because if I don't know who I'm trying to get, then that's going to make it really hard to get those people. So
right.
target audience. And then social media, yeah, there's a lot of platforms out there. What I
Yeah.
typically really talk to our clients about, which insurance spans a lot of age ranges. I've got some even 80 and 83-year-old clients
All
on
right,
that
all
side.
right.
Yeah. So
That's cool.
I find that a lot of people have maybe a little hesitancy about social, maybe a little fear, a little bit putting themselves out there.
Right.
And so
It's a
I
big
really
one.
want to give them recommendations on what they can do that's going to be the easiest, fastest, and simplest for them. And there's a
Right.
lot of platforms, but insurance agents, they're trying to grow their business, and which we're talking about here, versus being an
Right.
influencer like a Kardashian or something like that, where
Right.
I'm getting paid off by however many
You're not
eyeballs
looking
I can
for
get.
view count or likes
No,
or
exactly. It's
followers.
not about going viral and view counts
Right.
like an influencer. That's a whole different route
Right.
and strategies. I want to do this to grow my business. I want to grow my insurance business, for example. So me having a whole bunch of people in Russia watching my videos isn't going to help me too much, because I can't write them insurance policies. I want the right audience coming through.
Right.
And I want to do it in a way that's sustainable. Coming back to the fitness side, if it's something
Right.
that isn't sustainable, then I'm not going to be able to keep doing it. So
Right.
like if I told our clients, hey, let's go leverage TikTok's a great platform. Well, unless they're really committed and able to do 4 videos every single day and publish them, then that's
Right.
probably not the platform for them. And honestly, most of my clients would rather murder me than do that. They don't want to be full-time
Why would you
content creators.
recommend this to me?
It's not what they want to do. Like, and I know they're not
Right.
going to do it sustainable. So what's the
Yep.
point? I want them to get
Right.
results. So we actually lean to Facebook. Is it the
Mm.
sexiest, most fun, amazing platform? No, heck no. I
No.
mean, listen, I don't even really like it, but it's so good for business and for these things.
Right.
And it's the easiest because it takes the least amount of content also. Then it's something they can sustainably do, easily fit within their day, not something that takes hours for them to implement. And
Mhm.
so it's like, I know
Right.
they can do
Even the
this and
content
get
strategy
results.
of Facebook
Yeah.
is a bit different than TikTok or
Mhm.
Instagram
Totally
because
different. Yeah.
my wife spends her time on Facebook primarily and growing a Facebook group,
Yep.
which she doesn't do any video at all. She hates it. And she's just never going to do it. So she will do pictures, but she is very good at written word, and so she can express herself in a much more aligned way, and that's be the singular point. And then she has
Mhm.
Instagram. I'm over here. You'd find me on, I don't know, 7 different platforms or something, posting everywhere and everything. And I guess it works. I don't know. I like the podcast thing, but you got to promote it or no one will listen to it, right?
and
So
and like I said, there's many ways to grow a business. Each
right.
social has its advantages and disadvantages for our audience, and for a lot of business
Right.
owners. I want to keep it easiest, most effective, and as they scale and grow, I'm a big proponent of them focusing on a single platform
Right.
until they're at least doing 1 million from it, and then expanding maybe to a second. Because each platform,
Right.
like you said, works differently. It's like trying to start 2
Mhm.
separate businesses to do 2 separate platforms versus focusing on one and scaling and growing. And another unique
Right.
advantage of Facebook, for example, is Facebook groups, like you just mentioned. TikTok
Right.
doesn't have TikTok groups. I can't go just get a group of people together on TikTok and chat and get in
Right.
conversations and sales
Build
conversations out there,
relationships. Yep.
but I can on Facebook. And
Right.
so that's a big thing, is the platform and knowing that my target audience, fantastic. Another thing is the platforms maybe work differently than they think they do, and understanding how the tool works I want to use keeps me from fighting against it and wasting a bunch
Mm.
of time and energy, versus
Yeah.
actually using it with less time for more results. And that's where I got to understand why it's built the way it is. Facebook's a business. It's built to make money. It makes money through ads. And so a lot of people, hey, personal profile, do my personal, and a business page is where I do my business. But in reality, that makes no sense, because if
Mhm.
I'm doing organic content on the business page, they have no incentive for people to they'll see that and come to me, because they want me to pay for ads. They'd go out of
Right.
business if I could do that effectively. So
Right.
they limit reach to usually 1% or less. Meaning if I've got 1,000 people following that business page, I'm lucky if 10 people see it. So it's really waste of time really doing any organic really on a business page, because no one's going to see it. It's like having a Michelin star restaurant in the middle of the desert. Doesn't matter. The
Right.
food's amazing if no one knows it's there. So the
Right.
personal profiles actually what you want to use and leverage, because Facebook actually wants to push that and connect and put content out and everything with the personal, because the longer they stay on the platform, the more ads they can serve, the more money they make. So a
Right.
lot of people are fighting against it, spending a lot of time and energy, maybe even doing great content, but nobody's seeing that or coming through because they're fighting the system than versus knowing how the tool actually works.
Right.
And yeah, and then extended from there, the types of content we're doing, how's that fit with our target audience? How do I grow and scale that audience? Facebook groups, how do I move those into conversations and DM to appointments for sales or referral partner relationships? All that plays into it, but those are some of the key initial parts is using your personal profile, knowing your audience and knowing what platform I'm going to use and leverage, and then going from there. If you don't have those things initially, then it's going to be really hard even if you create a whole bunch of content.
Right, definitely. And you'll get on the content hamster wheel and never get any fruit of thy labor from it. And the
Yeah.
outline that you're sharing does work for any solopreneur, entrepreneur,
Mhm.
business owner, whether it's online, brick and mortar, selling things,
Mhm.
products, services, whatever. This is the general approach that you need to do to be able to then create those conversations, which is where the magic happens, anyways, because
Yep.
then you build that know, like, and trust and that proximity to that person to be able to then offer them help. At the end of the day, that's what you're trying to do. They have a problem, you have a solution. Is it a good fit? And if it is, then you'll make money. You'll be able to offer them your services and it'll feel
And
good.
yeah, you gotta feel good with what you're doing if you want to keep doing it and do it for a long period of time. Like
Right.
I mean, I felt the most freed ever when I hopped out of corporate or ever because I didn't like what I was doing. I didn't
Right.
enjoy it. It felt soul sucking, especially once I
Right.
knew I was going to be hopping out of that and running businesses. Every single day felt worse and worse. That's kind of a thing.
Oh,
Like you accept
right.
it until you know that that's not the reality or what you have to be doing, and then all of a sudden all those things that you just kind of accepted start popping up or like, oh, this is terrible. Why I can't believe I did this for so long.
Right.
And that was that transition. But I mean, it's you got to enjoy it, and at the end of the day, like, keep in mind what's the goal with what I'm doing for my marketing is I want to get into conversations with people I can help, right?
Yep.
So whatever I'm doing, whether that's podcast and me educating them, people reaching out to me from that, forming referral partner relationships who connect me with people who need my help because they're already working with them and they can pass that trust off to me. Whether it's social media, heck, even calling, which was the most direct way initially of getting in conversations, except now no one answers and no one and calls are getting screened or blocked or there's no
Hmm.
trust there. Now I've got to like, okay, how do I have this trust and get in front to then get to those conversations? And for me, social media is one of the most powerful ways of doing that. That I love teaching of how do I get to these qualified conversations with my
Right.
audience referral partners through social. So lots of ways to do it. But at the end of the day, if you're not getting in conversations, then you need to take a look at what you're doing for marketing because that's really the whole point is to get to these conversations.
Right. Help someone.
Exactly. Yeah. That's
And
what's
that
why we do our
that's right.
businesses. We want to help
That,
people, right? Like
hmm
if you talk about fitness and health and by running your business all day long, but no one listens and no one goes and does it, then it's like, I can give advice or input all day, but people got to put it in place so they can get results. And when they're winning and they're healthy or they're succeeding in their business, that's rewarding. That feels good. Not only
Right.
to us helping them, but to them. That's their goals. That's their life. And so yeah, it's powerful being able to help people.
That's the best part of what I do is
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
outcomes. I'd have to imagine for you too is the
Mhm.
outcomes of doing the actions that your clients get to see. So on my end, we see a lot more confidence, a lot more energy showing up in their
Mhm.
everyday life so that they start doing things that they would not do. And for some, it's better connecting with their partner, spouse, their kids. Others, it's better connecting at work, and all of a sudden they're getting promotions or they're running their business more focused, proficient, efficient to make more money. I've seen it so many different ways where the fruits of the labor, of the effort of losing weight and getting in better health has a just like it's a rocket ship trajectory to
Mm.
a different planet in a sense of where they would have been if they would have just stayed stuck. I've had and this one client, the guy moved from upstate New York down to Myrtle Beach and because he lost 50 pounds. That was the preemptor of doing it. He was locked into his career, had a spouse, and just doing the normal everyday thing, and just like get up, go to work, go home, just all that stuff. Just like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. And now he takes long walks on the beach on the weekends, and it is more of his happy place, and he's around family too, which is really really cool. But it was because he had enough of where he was at, and he had to unstuck. So, what are some of the things that you see once the people start taking action on creating conversations,
Hmm.
on showing up authentic? Like, what is the outcome that you've seen from stories of people and such?
So, I mean, a big thing, like off the bat, especially as they push past some of these initial fears. Maybe they've never touched social, they're fearful.
Right.
80% of the people come to me immediately, I'm not a social media person. Or I was like, well, before I ever, played baseball or basketball, I wasn't a basketball or baseball person. Like, it's a skill
Right.
set, it's something new
Right.
you have to learn. No one starts off like, I've never touched social, but I'm a social person. Like,
Right.
it's something there. So a big piece is confidence right off the bat is, as people I post or I start taking action and realize, oh, people are actually positive about this. Oh, I haven't seen this person in years and they're congratulating me on this or commenting and but
Right.
okay, this is nice. I thought people would be like, oh, your hair's terrible. What happened to your nose or whatever? Like, oh my, no, it's like people are actually, especially
Nice.
organic, nice
Right.
and encouraging
Right.
versus, ad
I see
ad comments
you.
are a whole different
Yeah.
thing.
Oh yeah.
But organic social, absolutely. And they realize, oh,
Mhm.
actually, this is not so bad. I like that people are paying attention. I didn't think anybody would care what
Right.
I posted, and so confidence initially, but then coming from that is, yeah, increased business coming to them, not actually enjoying what they're doing each day because it ties into the type of content they're creating, to the people they're helping and servicing and writing, and growing their business and sales is a big thing, of course, and then that also by removing 14 hours a day of dialing, now freeing up time with social to accomplish a
Mhm.
lot more in a lot less time. Yeah, more time with
Right.
their family, more time to do their health, their walks, their gym.
Mhm.
Their spouses and kids get to see them more, which is part of the reason they're doing what they're doing in the first place. I'd like to spend more time with my family. Well, can I adjust my business to do so? Yes. And so, that's some like the short term. And then long term, they end up like, I'm actually having a lot of fun with this. I enjoy this. It's my favorite way of acquiring stuff. Now I have visions of, oh, I think I want to start a podcast, or I'm actually hosting conferences now because
Mhm.
I'm an authority that people want to come to this conference or this webinar or seminar. So it just opens up a world of opportunities. And we've had people even take this to shift into things that were even more aligned with their vision and dreams. I remember a client
Right.
who was doing life insurance and he tripled his business and a few months of putting this stuff in place. It was great. But his whole passion, he was in Chicago, was like, what I really, really want to do is I really wanted to run food trucks with my family or ever and
Okay.
stuff. And so he started up a food truck business called Tacos, Takozz, funny. And Elle
Nice.
actually, my spouse actually helped him with the design for the wrapping the food trucks and used the social
Yeah.
media strategies that kicked off and launched it. Got so popular, he now has two food trucks and a brick and mortar restaurant all in Chicago,
Nice.
runs everything there, doesn't do insurance anymore. He's had that taken
Right.
off and just uses social media for it. Same strategies, different business, but
Right.
something
Right.
he gets to do with his spouse and kids all run that business together. He's living the time of his life, right? And that was
Yeah.
something I was going to point out. We live in a day and age where we have never had this much freedom to craft our lives and our
Right.
businesses to what we want, whether that's
Right.
time with our families and our local communities of volunteering and living the best lives there, or
Yeah,
whether it's
real quick
travel
on
around
the
the world. Yeah,
volunteering is that you can't volunteer your time if you're worried about how you're paying your bills. You
correct.
can't,
Yeah,
like, if you're time strapped, you're working all day or any of this, you do not have time to take care of yourself or do other things. And so that
you end
just
up
popped
in a
up.
rat race or a little bit,
Yes.
right? And
Right.
also the help and support, like previously, like, oh, I need team, well, I got to go find and hire, I got to be able to afford 50,000 to pay them a salary, all these things,
Right.
and to do
Right.
this, and even basic things I need help with and stuff, and to really now, like, there's so much ability between both location independent and virtual work, but also leveraging like virtual assistants to be able to take
Right.
over a lot of these areas, usually at like $4 or $5 an hour. We have 9 full-time virtual assistants helping with different areas of the business. Like, it's
Mhm.
never been easier to leverage your time with technology and AI and like virtual assistants and stuff,
Right.
to be able to do more with less time and effort. Um, and so, yeah, I mean, it's a cool age we live in. I mean, can you imagine like 20, 30 years of like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go work from Spain this month where I run my business and manage my team, and then I'm gonna come back,
Right.
and then I'm gonna go to a conference in Peru, and then but you can today. Like
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. 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 It is so awesome. Even my wife is doing exactly what you're doing or talking about is that she wasn't on social, very personal, started putting herself out there. And everyone in our sphere of circle, right? There's this social network, friends, family, and all this stuff. They understand that we travel a lot because we've been doing it for 10 plus years of
Hmm.
heavy going somewhere all the time. So it's her DNA. That's how people know her. Like, oh, where are you going next? Where are you go? Literally, that's when we see friends or acquaintances. Like, so where did you go? Where are you going next? And I've just seen it. And she ended up growing a Facebook group and just literally just being diligent with posting every day and creating connections. That she has a women's only Puya trip in October 27, and she sold it out. Basically, launch day is 10 of 11 spots sold out, and it wasn't the cheapest experience to go on, but it's a trip that these women
Hmm.
have never been on because of her skill sets and demand and capacity over the years of acquiring this travel skill. And she sold it, and then the next spot went within under 24 hours of launching. And so it was just so awesome to see this fruition, and just people just are referring her and clients,
Hmm.
and they keep coming back because they know, like, and trust her. And it shows like every once in a while in travel, things don't always go, you don't go from point A to point B and it's seamless.
No.
And so she ends up being the savior all the time.
Hmm.
And it's really cool to see her do this. It's like that maybe I need to start working for you here, especially as we get to part three, because I want to go places. I don't want to just stay at home and watch the cats. In a sense.
Someone's got to watch the cats, but once
Yeah,
again,
yeah,
that's probably someone we can bring someone in to watch the cats while you
yeah.
travel, right? So
Yeah, but going away to Spain for a month would totally be the thing for her for sure. So pretty cool, pretty cool. It's awesome that you're able to help people shift, like the taco
mhm,
truck guy. Like, that's a reality in our world today, and it just starts with deciding to do something different, showing
mhm,
up as yourself so that people gain that know, like, and trust. And we don't have to rely on AI running your whole business or whatever. You can show up as you, and we can leverage things. That's important. Time leverage is very important. And if you're a good business owner, you run an efficient business that can allow for that, so that you can show up in your zone of genius and not just doing every single thing in the background and just burn out, because that's not helping anyone either. Very cool.
absolutely. I mean, balance is key. I mean, am I someone who believes that every day and periods of our lives are like balance? Is never like
No.
balance as in
Agreed.
things are even.
Agreed.
It's just like, hey, there's certain time periods where I'm launching something new or diving in,
Right.
and that's gonna be there, but I can't do that for months and years. I have
Right.
to have that balance back as well. Like kids, like, I
Yeah.
didn't see you for 5 years, Dad. It's like, can't be that dad, right? Especially when family's
Right.
important to you. So
Right.
balance is key, but can't neglect things. Can't neglect our cats. Can't neglect our kids, our health, which will come back and honestly limit us and what we want to accomplish. Because if
Yes.
you don't feel good, you feel healthy, your energy's down, you do less, then you get stressed more, and then it just kind of is once again a hamster wheel. So nothing changes. Nothing changes, like you said. People have to
Right.
break out and make that change.
Right. Very much so. Awesome, David. I appreciate you coming on the show. And I've I've been through a lot of different coaches and such, and the experience that you share is the exact one that you have to embrace if you want to do something different. And in the ever changing world of business and of opportunity in this day and age, it's worth you
Mhm.
showing up as you, just finding the best way to do that and deliver it to the people around, and that resonate, or they need your help, your assistance, so that you are able to offer your help, get business from it, and live a happy, healthy life that's fun, that's exciting, that's enjoyable, and isn't a 40-year career and then you slowly die. That's definitely not it. So listening in was just a great reminder that if you're a business owner out there, it always goes back to building trust, having conversations with people to then be able to then facilitate a transaction, and a good helpful transaction, in a sense, beyond just like taking someone's money, in a sense. So offering value, which is
Hmm.
great. So how do we find you, where you show up at? It'll obviously be in the show notes.
So, I mean, probably the easiest thing if you're insurance agent or business owner, we do run a Facebook group. It is called Marketing for Insurance Agents. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, feel free to hop on. Just say I heard David on the podcast.
Yeah.
But it's about 37,000 insurance agents around the country in there. Great discussions. We talk about social and a lot of these things in there, and have a podcast called the Modern Insurance Agent Podcast, where we talk about these concepts around technology and sales and marketing, health, a lot
Right.
of these things that we pull together for that. And I'm on social, David Denning. If you look for me, picture me there, you can shoot me a message. I handle my messages and would love to connect, would love to chat more. But I just feel blessed and honored to be on the podcast with you,
Yeah.
Brian, and really appreciate having me on.
Yeah, David showed up with authenticity, with excitement. It's been easy to talk with you, and I would tell anyone to definitely jump in. And again, his niche is insurance agents, but if we just peel that title off, it is business owners, and it's anyone that is trying to do business in a modern day era and leverage their strengths, improve their weaknesses, so that they can better serve the world and live a more fun, engaging life. Well, that's it for this episode of Driven for Health. I hope that you took some notes and that this resonated with you. And if it does, show notes, please check it out and connect with us both. All right, off we go.